great.
Good morning. Welcome to the Friday morning meeting the candidates that will be seated this coming October 13th at our regular board meeting. That meeting will be an official meeting of the sitting of all the new directors, and it's going on. It is my pleasure to be here, and it's my pleasure to be with these people. In case you don't recall, we did not have a full election this year. We had 4 openings, and we have 4 candidates here. 2 of them are returning candidates, and 2 of them will be new to our board. This will give us our full 11 seats. We are full now, but we will continue with 11 full director seats going forward into the new year, which is really nice. Let me introduce you to. First, over here on my left, on the end here is Mary Sinclair, who's been on the board for, I think, 6 months. So I count her as a returning director. Right next to me is Elsie Addington. Been on the board a few times, well, not long times, but she's been here. She's very seasoned of being a board member. And welcome to you too. Over here, Janet Labar. I will get it right by the beginning of the year. Janet Labar, sitting here, is new to our board and will be seated on October 13th. And next to her is Rashad? No. Naresh Chadha. An interesting name, and if I'm right, he is the warrior of evil, is his name interpretation. So welcome. Both of you are going to be great additions to the board. What we're going to do is we are going to do the Pledge of Allegiance right now. Oh, we don't need to do this is not okay. Sorry, Kathy, no Pledge of Allegiance. This is an open. So.
Yeah, we don't have to.
We
usually don't do that for me.
I'm looking at a past agenda, and you know how we always do it. This is a open forum meeting, so we'll go forward. Okay, nothing against it at all. Okay, because we don't have an agenda. Right now, I'm going to let the 4 candidates, and I'm going to start with my left, with Mary, and they will have their opening statements. And at your leisure, please do.
Thank you, Dr. Prater. It's my pleasure to be here, and it's safe to say the first 6 months went really well. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing this. I know I have been to every single United and GRF committee meeting at least once, with a lot of repeats. So I dove right in. And I'm still learning, and I'm finding out that there is no end to the learning. But it's been a joy on so many levels, not just starting to understand how the village works, because when I understand it better, then I can help someone who has an issue know how to go about handling it. So that's feeling empowering. And I really like meeting the other directors. When I was a young adult, shall we say, I played soccer, and it's 11-a-side, as you might know. And so being on with this group is just like being on that 11-side soccer team. So I like being on a team. It's really rewarding. Also, don't want to forget to let you know, if anyone is watching and doesn't know, I think we have the best staff out there. We are totally well supported. One big fear coming in was that I would need to write my own reports and do my own summaries, and that's all expertly done for us. So thank you to the staff. Super quick background. I have degrees in health and fitness and educational administration. I taught at several universities on the faculty of University of Illinois at Chicago for the longest time. I was a faculty member, and then also as the director of the undergraduate program for 5 years as well. And then moved from there, where I became the coordinator for fitness and nutrition at a cancer wellness organization to support people from a wellness perspective. So if you've seen my email, you know it's all about wellness. And lately that's moved into environmental wellness. So I now am working really hard to understand it, to do what I can around, let's just call it what it is, the climate crisis and how that's affecting us and our budgets and our health and everything. So I'm not looking at a clock, so you'll have to tell me when I'm getting close. 1 minute, or am I up?
You're fine. You're fine.
Thank you. Thank you. So it made sense for me to look into joining the board because I was a landscape advisor for about 5 years or so. So it was a really nice introduction to how things work. And through that, kind of became active in that area and keenly interested in water, because water is running the show these days. For that same amount of time, I've been attending the El Toro Water District meetings on a quarterly basis. They're open to everyone. So if you would like to join, just go to their website and sign up for the next one. I'm a member of the brand new Water Conservation Committee that just had its first meeting recently. And so that's a collaboration between Third and United and GRF, essentially to help get the word out, to share what we learn about the water situation, as well as to look and see how we can improve our usage here in the village. Also interested in energy, the solar issue, the EV issue, and then soon to be popularized, the balcony plug-in issue. So those are all things being considered by the boards on an ongoing basis. I'm also on the Committee for Strategic Land Use. That's looking forward at those few parcels we have that are unused, and looking to see if there's a best use approach to making changes there. And then also on the GRF Security and Community Access Committees. So I found that even though my passion is around ecological and conservation and environmental topics, that segues really nicely into being on the lookout on the boards for places where we can improve what we're doing, because it always translates into cost savings. So solar, if we invest down the road, pays off. Managing water better, that's going to be paying big dividends because that's going up so much. And so at the at the village level, we can make changes, and then also bring those changes to down to the residents, because we actually are the ones who have the power to make a difference. So that's been my finding. So just one more thing. 100 years ago when I was young, I remember someone gave me this great motivational tip. It said, really all you need to do is show up, pay attention, and do your best. And that's kind of sort of been true for me, as long as I do the reading for the committee meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mary. Elsie, would you like to go, or do we want to go back and forth? You're ready. Look at this. You're ready.
I'm always ready. Actually, after Mary's introduction, I would like to say just wash, rinse, repeat, and take credit for everything she said, only with my name on it. Okay? You really can speak extemporaneously well. You do it well, and I don't. So I was told I could read my opening United candidate statement. So that's what I'm going to do. In terms of my background, I worked for the federal government for, I don't know, 70 or 80 years, you know. I started when I was very young. My professional background of 30 years of public service has made me skilled at serving the needs of the public while staying within strict legal guidelines. Nobody understands that. Oh, that's why I don't speak well. I can't stay on a topic. We are not only responsible to ourselves, and me to Kathy and me to Mary, and we have to be very careful to balance everything we do with strict legal guidelines. Otherwise, we're out. Well, if we break the law, we break the law, and we all know. We all watch TV, know what happens. See, I can't stay on topic. During my tenure on the United and GRF boards, this meant paying attention to the needs of the residents as well as those of the association, and finding solutions within the law and best business practices that work for the balanced, emphasis on the word balanced, good of all. My current 16-month term on United board, the 2 years I spent on the GRF board, and the 3 years on United before that were instructional and taught me much about how our village is governed by its several boards, as well as the board's unique relationship with VMS. I am generally regarded as for whom I'd like to give a big shout out today to our lovely Michaela for keeping track of us. It's like herding cats. And I am generally regarded as a positive person with a reputation for being responsible and fair. I have good working relationships with several members of VMS staff with whom I have worked closely, and with directors from other boards. We have different points of view here in the village as to what people want from their community, not necessarily in sync with each other. We are also subject to ever-changing Did I already say that? No, I don't think so. With ever-changing city, state, county, and national laws. Within these constraints, it is challenging to work for the good of all while paying attention to the needs and wants of the few. I will always strive to determine the pertinent facts and circumstances and consider them when working on village issues for the next 3 years. I will be happy to continue to serve my home team. Thank you. That was it.
That was it. Thank you. All right. The rest.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oops, yeah, pursue. Yeah. First lesson, we didn't do it.
Thank you, President, for introducing me. My name is Naresh Chadha, and I bring a lifetime international experience, professional leadership, and community service to my candidacy. Born in Nairobi, Kenya, as a second-generation Indian, my early years were shaped by discipline and responsibility through the Boy Scouts, which is achieving a rank of Queen Scout, which is equal to Eagle Scout. And climbing the highest mountain in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, twice, taught me the resilience, teamwork, and commitment. After high school, I began my career as an accounts clerk, moving to London at the age of 18 to pursue further studies. After following 2 years in Polytechnic and additional training in civil engineering, I transitioned into emerging field of computer technology. My career took me across Europe, North America, including contributing to Siemens' 20th Olympic Games computerization project in Munich. Over the years, I held leadership roles in Toronto, Europe, East and West Coast of United States, ultimately serving as the president and CEO of an international operations for a Japanese technology company. Since retiring in 2008, I've remained dedicated to service, volunteering the Sylvester and Suzy Q Centers to assist senior citizens with computers and phones. I finally moved in Laguna Hills in 1997 and moved to Laguna Woods in 2023. Within our community, I have served as a vice president of the India Club and currently serve on the board of Community Bridge Builders. I also stay active through pickleball, golf, table tennis, and pool. With my global background and decades of leadership, I'm committed to supporting this board with integrity, collaboration, and practical experience, focusing on financial responsibility, resident safety, and maintaining affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And last but not least, Janet, please, you have the floor. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Janet Labar, and sometimes I think you can learn more about a person from how they handle their mistakes rather than from their accomplishments. So rather than use my 2 minutes to tell you about my experience in finance as a stockbroker, banker, and internal auditor, or my knowledge of horticulture gained at the University of Minnesota Landscape Arboretum, I'm going to tell you about a mistake I recently made. Many of you know I'm an advocate for photosensitive people for whom strobe lights can trigger PTSD, seizures, and migraines. I've worked hard to get rid of them from Clubhouse 5 and objected strenuously to the solution being to just put up a sign warning people that there might be strobing at the event. That does not solve the problem or make the event accessible. I was very excited to finally attend a strobe and sign-free event on August 8th, which myself and others enjoyed. I was elated to think that I had finally achieved my goal. Then last Saturday, I arrived at an event, and to my utter dismay, I saw another sign posted. The sign was clearly not for the benefit of the people with this disability, and honestly, I can't imagine why it was even there. I felt like everything I had worked so hard for was ripped away, and in an impulsive moment, out of sheer frustration, I removed the laminated paper sign and took it home to photograph for my records, as clearly my battle was ongoing. I do not bring my phone to the events, as one of my table mates had theirs stolen recently. I was in the wrong to take the sign, so I returned it to Clubhouse 5, eventually admitted I took it, and apologized. Do I regret taking it down? Absolutely not. It was misleading, a barrier to entry, and 100% false. No strobing was scheduled, and none happened. Do I regret not owning up to it sooner? Yes. I am not a perfect person, but I do my best and admit to and own my mistakes. Have you ever felt marginalized, disrespected, and unheard here? If so, I'm listening. Thank you. That's what I want you to know about me today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Now we get to come to the fun part.
I thought this was the fun part.
Well, that was the fun part, too. I forgot to introduce, we do have, Tony is here, Jonathan's here, and Kathy's here from the board, and we actually have two members of the board up here, but I'm not going to let ask themselves questions.
They could ask
So what we do, we are open up to questions to the board members, and anybody that wishes to ask. Do we have anybody online? Okay. All right.
Wow.
Real good. These don't get high marks for attendance. Jonathan, your hand's up. Please come forward.
Good morning. Welcome to the candidacy, and I wish each of you a great luck, and I'm positive each of you will make a difference into our upcoming election and future of the board, and eventually to the entire board for the village we own, we live, and most likely we will die. But today is for the living people. My question for Mary, since your background has something to do with the waters, we'll live next to the ocean. but every day we scream of the thirst in Southern California. It's very, very sad to know we have such a technology that can pinpoint whatever from the space, but we cannot use that entire ocean to make it drinkable or usable for our daily use. What is your position? What do you think you can do about it? And what is your proposal if you had the chance to talk directly to the people who are in charge of this state?
Thanks, Jonathan. Well, that's $1 million question because we are in search of water. Instead of me giving you my opinion, let me just share with you what the general manager of El Toro Water District presented at one of those community events. And he laid out a number of alternatives that they're actively pursuing and researching, knowing that we need to be on the lookout for additional water sources. We have two. We have water from the California State Water Project that comes from Northern California all the way down in, I think it's the biggest aqueduct in the world right here. And our second source is the Colorado River, which you might have seen in the headlines lately. So luckily we have two sources, but we definitely have to read the writing on the walls and make some changes in anticipation of less water. So what Dennis Cafferty said about the desalination plants is it's simply cost prohibitive. He didn't say it was a good idea or bad idea. He said that they've looked into it, and the prospect of piping it from the coast, from the plants that are there, was pretty much fraught with problems. So he, as the general manager, is looking at the budget in order that they can keep our costs down, which they fight to do. There's so much beyond our control now with not just the price of water itself, but all the infrastructure that needs to be maintained and, you know, exploration into new areas. My personal opinion, which is in keeping with my kind of worldview, is that there are disadvantages to the desal plants. One is that they are intensely energy costly. And so the next highest thing, prices going up next to water, is electricity. And so that's part of the, you know, the cost prohibitive part of it. Another aspect that I'm concerned about is by running the salt water through the system, taking out the clean water and putting the salt back into the water, it may seem like the ocean is infinite, but it's not really. And our ecosystems are struggling mightily to hold their own right now. And a shift not only in temperature but in salinity definitely affects the wildlife and the health of the ecosystem along the coast. It may not happen right away, but moving in that direction will eventually have a bit of an impact there. So it's just a great big research project, really, to be checking these things out. So that's not, it doesn't mean it's off the table. It means at the last round, it didn't seem to be cost effective for us to use that as a source. What they did say might be more effective are the prospect of looking into the, again, expensive possibility of creating more reservoirs for the rain we do get. So, sorry to be so long-winded there.
Okay. And usually we let the questions and then we let the other almost directors answer the questions. So if you would you like to add anything to his question? Elsie?
Just a tad, it's hard to add anything. It's very well thought out. I would, keeping everything that she said in mind, that Mary said in mind, you're looking at the water, okay? I'm talking to Joseph. Jonathan, I got the right beginning initial, that's great for me. I'm looking at swimming pools that never get used in the backyards of people that work and go to school and are never home, that are open to the evaporation. I'm looking at swimming pools, and that sounds petty, but it's not. Take a look at the number of swimming pools the next time you fly over LA. Swimming pools, golf courses. I'm a big pro golfer. I don't play golf, but I love golfers and the game. However, I don't care what kind of turf you use, it still takes a lot of water. And I don't even care if it's recycled water, it's still a lot of water. And so if you look at a lot of ways, and this is a big no-no for TV, but flushing toilets every time you think about it. Like, I think I'll just go flush my toilet. We don't need to flush our toilets. If people had any idea, I'll bet you Mary knows. Do you know how many gallons a year are lost in that average family from flushing their toilets?
If it's a number, I have to look it up.
It's a lot, and I won't dwell on that particular thing. So, yeah, everything she said, and every time I look into salinization, I run into the same problems. I get the same objections, and it has to do with cost, and more cost. Oh, one more thing, okay, about the ocean ecology relative to the desalinization plants. I've never been at sea near a desalinization plant, but I have been in waters by a nuclear plant. You know, Dolly Parton down here, we used to call it the Dolly Parton, but it's called something else, San Onofre. If you went offshore in just a little sailboat offshore, oh my God, right off it's not a desalinization plant, it was a nuclear reactor, a nuclear plant. And they use the seawater to cool the cores. And the difference in the warm water versus the Pacific's a cold ocean, pretty much. And except in where it's got a bunch of islands and around the equator, but at least our coastal is very cold compared to, like, say, the Atlantic. It's the same. Anyway, these huge, and there's nothing wrong with them, these huge kelp beds, kelp way taller than this room, way taller than this room. And the different kinds of fishes swimming in there, semi-tropical fishes swimming through the. So my whole point is, if a few degrees of temperature could change the coastal ecology that seriously, I totally believe that desalinization could do the same thing, or extra salinization. It would be, right? It would be super salinization. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I think, but I never think about water.
Janet, would you like to add anything to his question?
I would. About 20 years ago, my husband and I went to New Zealand, and we toured a power plant that is entirely underground, under a lake. It was a sensational experience, and the engineering was absolutely stunning. So if they can build a power plant under a lake, I think we could probably build some large cisterns underground to store our huge amount of very nice, clean, already softened rainwater runoff. So I'd really like to pursue that if it becomes a necessity where we are becoming a little more desperate for water. Right now we have ample water, which is making us waste water. It comes out of the tap, we use it, we don't think about it. I believe the El Toro Water District has said we have ample water supplies. Is that
We're
correct?
sufficient right now.
Sufficient, yeah.
The reason they're issuing these updates on our conservation efforts is because we are headed for trouble.
Exactly. And it changes very quickly from, normal groundwater levels to dangerously low groundwater levels. So I think we should be proactive and start looking at some of those options to store water. It just makes sense. And for flushing the toilet, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.
There is.
I like to address what's in the community. What I've seen in the community, the watering system working odd hours and some working not on odd hours. I play 9-par golf, and when I'm on the golf course at 8 o'clock, they're watering at that moment. That's a waste of water. That's extremely waste of water when the sun is up and it's hot. They're doing it. Why don't they do it at nighttime? I've taken this matter with Tom, who's in charge for the Golf Pro shop. And some places have got waterlogged. When you walk through the grass, your feet get into mud.
Exactly.
And that's not good. Additionally, I think the sprinkler system needs to be looked at thoroughly in the community because they're operating 3 times at a night, for example, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then 8 o'clock. Why is that? Why do we need that much watering?
Don't.
It's waste of water. And I think we should conserve and make sure that we talk to the people who are in the watering system to say they control this watering efficiently and not waste,
Thank you. All right, I'm going to say something real quick, if I can. You can go next. Anyway, a lot of talk about water, and I think it's really good. It is an important factor that will be continuing. It's not going to go away. And I have a feeling we'll be talking about this almost at every board meeting in one way or another. I know the landscaping system they're using right now is in a, quote, learning. It's one of those, quote, smart systems. And I hope that it learns quickly because it's been a while and I know they're working on it, trying to make it a completely automated system. And I'm sure that we'll get reports on that going forward too. Let's go to another question. Oh, I'm sorry, Elsie.
I'm sorry, there's just one thing, in my rambling way, I mentioned how much I love golfers and golfing, and then it sounded like I wanted all the golf course to go away, and I'm not. I don't mean that. I just mean we have like desert, there's some way they build golf courses where you don't have all the grass. That's all I meant to say.
And they're working on that too.
I don't want to go to war with the golfers because I love them.
Yeah. Tony, I think Kathy had her hand up first. Oh, okay.
I'll go after Tony.
Okay. You're going to be able to go more than once, but go ahead. Tony.
Thank you very much. I think everything we talk about here is cost. Everything we're talking about comes down to money. So I'd like to hear what you all have any ideas on how we can find nonprofit sources of revenue, because everything we talked about here today is based on having money. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. And to be fair, because I want to be a little bit fair here, because we have seasoned people over here and we have new directors coming. So I'm going to actually throw this towards the new directors first. So go ahead, please, Naresh.
I've spent some time with the landscapers on the field. I say, what do you think of what's happening? And they say, our management is not very good. I think they're not controlled. And he says we need a good management to control us, to work efficiently on the landscaping and the watering system. So cost is very important. And this is a wastage of cost. I've seen several Laguna Woods workers sitting in their cars on the phone, not doing the work they are sent to do the work. That again is a monitoring issue which can cut the cost of the people on the field. I think these are the two things that I've come across in my recent observations.
Thank you. Janet?
I think there are many opportunities for cost savings that don't involve trying to add more money. For example, this room isn't quite as cold as it usually is, but I was at City Hall the other day and I walked in and the first thing I noticed was, oh, this is a really pleasant temperature. I can walk in a sleeveless shirt and not feel like I need to go out to the car and get my extra jacket. So can we look at these systems and do we really need to keep it at 68 degrees? I also agree and have been questioning landscape practices that I find extremely wasteful. And a small example is workers in the mules, the little cars that they run around in, actually running over and squashing existing landscape plants. I saw somebody spraying herbicide on landscape plants by our enclosure, our garbage enclosures. And he was spraying around the base of the plant to make it smaller, but it just made it brown and ugly. Recently, there was a post on Facebook about one of my acquaintances who lost her beautiful, fully in color bougainvillea plant because they just came around and hacked it. Now, she could actually ask for reimbursement for that because that was, anywhere else it would be considered an act of vandalism. And I have put out emails to the boards about options on how to save money on our water bill. Our water bill is now up to 2022 drought levels, and we're supposed to be in a water conserving state. I did an experiment using moisture meters to measure moisture in my soil. I requested shut-off valves for the water coming to my area because they wouldn't reduce it overall. And I left those valves off for 1 day short of 3 weeks before my clay soil normalized to adequate moisture levels. Deaf ears. I report my findings. I have the credibility. I have the background to support it. But that's why I'm here, to see, because when you get 3 minutes to talk, you don't have any, you can't really make an impact.
Elsie, would you like to comment on the question? Would you like the question repeated?
No, I can't follow that.
Okay. Mary?
Yep, I'm going to speak from my vast experience of 6 months on board and just share what I've seen about how things work. And that is, I see how much easier it is for the board and the staff to handle a specific ticket. And I've noticed how and I know that Kurt, the landscape director, watches those like a hawk and looks for trends. And so if there's a trend in something, they respond to that. And so anyway, that process of turning in tickets is never to be underestimated. It's almost like progress can be made one item at a time. And then that also guides them in decisions that they make, in terms of allocating staff or changing out plantings or whatever. So I guess this is my way of throwing it back to us residents, because I'm same thing. When we see a leak, take a picture and send it to resident services so that it could be handled right away. If we see some overwatering, there is such a thing as a compliance office here for that very thing. If there's somebody who's really wasting water, it's an anonymous process. So that's a valuable thing. So cost savings. So that's one thing I've noticed in terms of holding costs down is reporting things immediately, so the committees and the staff can put that on deck. The other thing I've noticed is how many months it takes to go through the budget process to come up with the final assessment, which will be announced this fall. And that's all gone over with a fine-tooth comb. And we're fortunate this year, Murad is an excellent finance representative. So he knows how to look at the sheets. He knows how to dig in. He asks good questions. And so that's the process, I think, that helps keep costs down, is just having people pay attention and ask questions and go from there. And then tightening belts. You know, I see so many requests that are declined because in the big scheme of things, it's kind of not in the budget right now. And so the larger things need to be taken care of. So that doesn't answer Tony's question. We would all like to know. It's like, where are we going to go to find this free money? And so in the meantime, I guess I'm suggesting the best we could do is just hold our costs down and do our part to help with the big picture. It's tough. One of the toughest things for us as residents here in United is getting motivated about our water bill because we don't see it. The landscape water and the residential water are lumped together and can't be separated out at this point. And so we don't have feedback about how much we're using. So we kind of have to guide ourselves by looking at our own behaviors and saying, you know, is that a water saving habit I've got or not? Okay, that's enough for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Kathy?
I know.
Elsie would like to have
I
her
just
time
wanted,
back. Should we give her time
I'm
back?
sorry, all this talk, I completely forgot Tony's question. And Tony, you've heard this before, but one way we can make a revenue stream we're missing out on is two horns of the same issue. One is we should take advantage of when people, when their estates or whatever, when people lose their houses, their units, we should not sell it on the courthouse steps. We should sell it, or, you know, we should sell it. And the other thing is just right related to that is we should sell our own units. We should have our own showroom. We used to have it in Clubhouse One. We used to have a showroom and people that would answer questions about the village, give you tours, and you could obviously have your own agent if you wanted it. But if you didn't want an agent, you could just, we were the ones that sold our own units. And I just think we're missing out on a bunch of money that way. And it still would not crash the for-profit ceiling. It would just offset a lot of our expenses. That's what I think.
Thank you. All
Thank you
right.
for the opportunity.
No problem. Thank you for that. I'm going to ask a question now. I had a note here. I have lots of notes here. If you think that a policy needs to be changed in the United policy, is there any certain one that you would like to see come forward? And if so, how would you work to change that?
Say it again, sorry, I didn't get it.
Is there any policy that you know right now that we have in place that you feel needs to be changed? And I'm not looking for a long answer, but I'm saying, would you know the procedure to go forward to make this change come?
I don't have the correct answer at the moment, but I feel that having had more time with the board, I can look into that. But as a newcomer over 2 years ago, I've noticed that there are several things caught up in the bureaucracy. We can cut the bureaucracy and save time and effort in completing the deals and the houses, and they let the people come here comfortably, fully aware of what they're going to expect.
Okay.
And that's not happening.
Well, you know, for not having an answer, you gave a great answer. Thank you. Janet?
My biggest concern is the way landscaping is conducted. And crews go out, one single foreman tells them what to do. And if they don't have the training or the knowledge to tell them correctly what to do, I've witnessed and photographed and documented some just what anyone else would describe as vandalism to plants and trees and shrubs that takes them years to recover from. So when I brought the complaint here originally, which was maybe a little over a year ago, I had a shrub on near my manor that was beautiful, cascading, lovely. It was, and I had a little sign up that said, "Please do not trim," in both Spanish and English. Well, the landscape department trains the people to ignore your signs. They don't care what we think or what we want. In fact, if you put up a sign, I think that might have actually motivated them to slash my little shrub. And they turned it into, if you took an umbrella and you cut it in the center, so you had just half of it there, that's what it looked like when it was done. I brought a photo in. And I don't think an untrained person under the guise of community property should be allowed to do that sort of thing. I don't think it's right that a residents' wishes are disregarded and disrespected. And it's not just me. I went around and talked to other people who do their own landscaping. And if they're not there, they're hacked. And I'm not talking about their computer. I have a little old lady neighbor. She's in her upper 80s. And there is now a phone network where when the landscapers come around, they're alerted. And she ran out of her home in her nightgown to protect her plants. I have a photo of her outside protecting her plants.
Okay.
So how do we fix that? I don't know.
Well, that was part of the question. You're supposed to say, how would you fix it?
Elect me CEO.
Okay. All right. Elsie, did you want to go on to that?
What was the question? Oh, my God. No, I'm serious. What was the question? Last time I forgot totally the question because we talked for 20 minutes about something else.
Do you have a top priority for a change in the United policy?
Yeah, I do.
There we go.
And I already mentioned it earlier in connection with revenue streams, but the prior director's question, but I would, what I said, don't resell our own units when they go into foreclosure, et cetera, and sell generally, market our own units. That's all.
Okay. Mary, would you like to comment on that?
I'm thinking I don't know that I could identify one policy. Where I'm coming from is having been here and now starting to understand things and hearing, the staff, who are working in the areas explain the rest of the story. I guess that's what I've learned about our policies is it's so hard not to know the rest of the story, to have whatever the issue is, which is legitimate, but put in context to see it from a kind of a wider point of view. So I don't know about proposing a policy so much as sharing my wish that I could wave my magic wand so residents could have a way for a deeper understanding of things. And I can't imagine that we're not doing enough because village media is outstanding. Oh my gosh, between TV and the Village Breeze and the Friday announcements, and we are well saturated with good information. So that's not it. But real quick, a process answer. What I'm trying to sort out here is when there is a change to be introduced, what the heck do you do? So what I can tell from so far is just to collect information about what needs to happen as much as possible, get it organized, bring it to the board meeting, and then raise that issue. And if the board is in agreement that that's important enough to go forward with, then very often the staff is asked to do a research on it and come back with a recommendation. And then the board has something to move on. And so that's the process I've seen so far. And so if it's something that seems like it's got value at a number of different levels, it moves its way up. And so what starts at a lower committee would end up for a vote at the board meeting. And so that's how it works. Then once a decision is made, there's a 28-day waiting period in case people still want to weigh in on it. Thanks.
Thank you.
I do have an answer for Elsie.
I'm next.
Okay, Kathy, I'll let you go. Let's go.
Thank you. Two things, maybe three, to answer one of the comments that Janet has made. There is a process in place with landscaping. I do know we do need some areas improved on, but there is a policy that I believe we've already voted on where if you choose to opt out when you have your own area that you have, maintenance will not touch it. And that's a form that needs to be filled out, and then that issue can be taken care of and your plants won't be bothered at that point, or other people. But getting our residents to actually go through all of the media that we have to find that information out, that's something that needs to move forward and a way to figure that out. The other thing is that all of you over the last year have been to a number of situations like this where you've applied for positions that have been open, so I don't really have too many questions about that. I do have an answer for Elsie, and Mary will not have to look this up, is that for a family of two, when you flush your toilet, if it is an efficient toilet, it uses 1.28 gallons. If it's standard, it is a 1.6 gallons. And if it's the older models, it's 3.5 to 7 gallons. So on an annual basis for water-sensitive toilets, it's 4,672 to older toilets at 12,775. So there is a way to answer one of Tony's questions to save money, is to pass along information, what we learned in the 70s when we had that horrible drought when I lived in LA County. If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. That could also help. So thank you for being new board members. I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Janet? Oh,
Can I respond?
Thanks, Kathy.
go right ahead. This is,
Just a quick note. I'm really heartened when I ask staff about policies we have in place. And so here in United, the low-flow toilets are standard.
Yes, they put them in about 3.5
Yeah.
years ago.
okay.
Yeah.
Elsie, you have a
I've
comment?
had mine for 13.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, when I moved here in 2000 and, it was the end of 2016, anyway, 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago, they just volunteered to give me a low-flow toilet. I guess it was, it hadn't been much replacement on that particular unit
Maybe
in a
it's
long
been
time.
longer than 5 years, but yes, I put mine in 2013.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, so you were a forerunner, I was just a beneficiary, but I'll take it.
All right. Did you have something to say?
Yes. Regarding the landscape program, the no herbicide program that you mentioned, I was probably one of the first people to sign up for that because
Oh, good.
I was instrumental in actually getting it passed. And the gentleman I referred to earlier who was spraying the landscape plants with herbicide, I happened to be outside and he was walking by my unit with a backpack on, looking at my plants. I'm like, what are you looking at my plants? Do you not see the 24 white flags that I have? So I walked down my steps. I look at him. He is reaching his little wand into my area, spraying his herbicide on not weeds, my little poppy seedlings.
Did you send Kurt an email?
I did.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So I rushed down and videoed him and followed him, and that's when I videoed him spraying our landscape plan.
This is not a Meet
This
the
is- I
Candidates
was-
matter.
Yeah, this isn't the time for that. Thank you. All right, Jonathan, did you have any comments on that? Okay, good. Jonathan, let's go.
It's been an incredible day so far, and I really appreciate each of you. Perhaps one of the most important issue for every single resident of this village is the monthly assessment. And we have seen the rise of it in the past 2 years for sure that I moved here. As a board member, as a representative of several thousand, each of you represents several thousand residents in the United. As a person who are promised to be fiduciary to preserve and to protect the interest of each of the residents, how do you support the rise of this assessment on a monthly basis? Thank you.
I almost want to hear that again, but Jonathan, please.
How can we justify
How do we justify the increases? Okay.
How do you stand to support the rise of the assessment?
Okay, then, thank you. I need a little clarity. Who would like to go first? Go ahead.
Well, I think I've looked at the two assessments that I've had, in the last 2 years, and there are several items which need scrutiny for VMS and people like those with their expenditures, the wastage of expenditures. I think that's what I mean. We need to look into that deeply, which we haven't done. I think as a united board, we should concentrate on looking each item that they put for assessment and see whether there is warranted or not. Otherwise, we're wasting our time.
Thank you. Janet?
I'm from Minnesota originally, and we're a frugal people. We don't spend beyond our means. If we're facing money shortfall, we look, well, how can we cut back? Can we switch to hamburger from pork chops or steak or whatever it is? And I think I've seen departments come with their hat out asking for more money because they've been asked to do something differently, but they still have the same number of staff and the same number of hours. So why do they need more money? It doesn't make any sense to me. As an auditor, I was trained to look at systems as well. I was an operational auditor as well as a financial auditor. And so you look at things, can this be done more efficiently, more effectively? So I think we need to start doing more of that when somebody says, oh, we need more money for this, or we need to add a staff member. Well, okay, can you reapportion the work, or can we cut a mid-level manager without substantially reducing our services? So we need to start asking those questions and looking at those options, I think.
You want to comment?
Well, first of all, this is South Orange County. And for $2,000, you can go right out and rent a bedroom in somebody's house. And you may or may not have kitchen privileges, okay, for $2,000. As opposed to here, where you get several golf courses. I don't want to do the partridge in a pear tree, but 5 pools, all these golf courses, and really shoestring-sized staff. And one reason why people complain a lot about the landscape stuff, Kurt never has a full staff. And the reason we can't have a full staff, wait a minute, I'm not answering a question, I'm pontificating. What was the question again? Sorry.
How do you justify?
Oh, no, this
How
is
do
the
you
answer.
justify the support
This is
of
the
the
answer.
rising?
Yeah, and the answer is, this is a very expensive place. We've had 2 or 3 raises in the minimum wage, which a lot of our landscapers in particular are minimum wage. And did you know that those guys don't even get paid when it rains? I mean, we're about as frugal as you can get. I think staff is, I don't know how I feel like I go to this big party every night or every day where everybody does everything for me, and everybody has an answer to my questions, and they're polite to me, and all these wonderful people, and I'm only paying $1,000 a month for it. I thank staff every day, and it's going to probably go up. Oh, coupled with, never mind the cost of real estate, coupled with the increase in utilities. I mean, most of our increase comes from, huge chunk of it comes from the increase in water and power, and we can't do anything about that. We're continuing to move forward with our, but it's with our solar efforts, but it's Occam's blade. It's like, on the one hand, we need more solar energy, but on the other hand, it costs a lot to beef up the infrastructure, and it's a large capital outlay. So that's how I justify it. I think we're getting a lot for our money.
Thank you. Mary?
Another $1 million question. That's what everybody wants to know. I want to acknowledge that here in the village, we have a unique situation. I dare say you can find this anywhere else, to have all these amenities in a beautiful landscaped garden in the middle of the desert with such good services. And so it's an unusual setting that we have, which is why we feel like it's getting expensive. But these are shared amenities, and because we share the cost, we can have them at all, and so that we can meet the needs of so many people, so many different people who want to enjoy different things. So it's really an unusual setting. I would argue that our costs are really reasonable, and one way to check is to do a comparison analysis with the other arrangements like ours. Seal Beach, there's one more that's Walnut Creek, Seal Beach, and you'll find that for far less amenities, their prices are higher anyway. And so our fees are less and the benefits are more compared to the competition. And like you were saying, if you look outside of the gates and just start comparing price per price, what we pay compared to what folks outside are paying, it's no contest. So it would be unthinkable for us to be able to hold our costs down with the cost of living outside the gates going up the way it is. So all you have to do is look at your own budget, and you can see how hard it is, to wrangle that into shape, and just, multiply that by 1,000, and that's what the village is doing. And even things like water and electricity pervade everything else, because any other business also has those expenses. For example, the biggest expense next to water for El Toro Water District is power, because they need the electricity to power it. So I would challenge, and from what I've seen so far this year as a total amateur, because I'm not a finance person, but I have seen a detailed item analysis for each of the budget items, and it's carefully considered more than once. So we've got the thorough process too. So gosh, I don't know what to say. And the hard part being a director is having to balance the head and the heart, because at the level of the head, we have a fiduciary responsibility to keep the village thriving. in order to meet the needs of all of us. And then from the heart level, gosh, heart just goes out to the people who are struggling because it's the reality of things. So, thanks.
All right. All right, I get to answer a question. And it's one that you really will learn. And the question is, where should a board member's loyalty lie and why? And Janet, I'll have you go first on this one.
We have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that our operations stay solvent. On the other hand, we are absolutely obligated to make this place where you live, a wonderful place to live as well, within the constraints of the finances that are available to do that. And that's the job of the board to decide, okay, are we going to spend money here? Do we need to keep subsidizing that? And look at how we can distribute the assets that are available without damaging our reserves or endangering our community in any way from like a natural disaster, needed repairs, ongoing repairs, so on and so forth. Like right now, with the tree falling at Clubhouse 5, that's a very dangerous situation. We have lots of those trees. That could be a potentially very, very expensive problem. So we need to look at things like that, prepare for them, protect people, and plan for the future.
I think our loyalty depends to the 6,323 members in the United Mutual, to listen to them, to act on what they have information or suggestions, and support them in all ways. That's my loyalty.
Thank you. I know you two have been very loyal, but I would still want an answer, please.
I'm loyal to you,
Oh,
John.
boy. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm loyal to the board of, and the people of United Mutual, period.
The fiduciary responsibility is a legal issue, and so as directors, our obligation is to the health and longevity of the corporation as a whole. But the point of the corporation as a whole is to meet the needs of the residents, and so there's a balance there. I feel like, boy, if there's a place to get old, this is it. I've never seen a more resource-rich environment for the needs of the elderly here. Wow. And so if you doubt that, just take a visit to the social services office, and they could point you in like one of 100 different directions for an agency that offers support. So we really do have a lot of resources here for the needs. Hopefully that can support, something that somebody needs that's outside of what we can do.
Thank you. Jonathan, Kathy, you have one more? You're good? Good? Just give everybody a time? Okay. For,
It's 2 minutes.
well, this,
Friday.
okay.
So there were member questions, and then following, you just give a concluding remark, and then the meeting's adjourned at that point.
Perfect. Then we will do the same thing. We'll start with closing remarks. I'm going to start over here with Mary.
In conclusion, I'd like to thank everyone for listening, and I have said way more than enough.
Thank you, Mary. Elsie?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I thought you would go automatic.
I was just waiting for your
The introduction.
permission,
Yes.
Your Honor. Okay, I have something quick. United Laguna Woods Mutual is a co-op, which comes from the word cooperative. And I think that says it all. United directors cooperate with each other, boards cooperate with residents, and the 4 boards cooperate one with the other. We all cooperate with VMS, our management company, which does all the work to keep us running. When all that cooperation happens, everybody wins. We don't have to all agree on every detail to be courteous and civil and to consider the opinions of our colleagues. I have a lot of respect for the members of the United Board and thank them for all the hard work, leadership, and energy they have displayed during these complicated times. We have some big challenges ahead, and we need experienced people to help new board members to hit the ground running. With the help of our management company, upon which we depend to advise the boards and execute their decisions, I am confident that we can prevail just as we have in the past. United Board will continue to serve all of our residents' needs as well as most of their wants, and I'm glad to be a part of that process. After all, I'm a resident too. I always remember why my husband and I moved here in the first place nearly 10 years ago, and will continue to do my very best to preserve and protect our beautiful, multifaceted village, so that hopefully it will be here for another 60 years. Nobody's perfect, but if we collaborate and cooperate, we can come pretty close. That was it.
Thank you. Janet, go ahead.
Oh, what she said, ditto. Excellent, well said. I agree completely. I'm really looking forward to working with this board. I've been attending meetings. I've watched from my TV. That was a big decision. Like, do I want to work with these people? Are these people I could be friends with? Are these people who will have respectful exchanges of opinion and we come to a conclusion that ultimately is the best choice for everybody? So I'm really looking forward to that, keeping my mind busy, because I have a very busy mind. I am tenacious. I ask a lot of questions. If you need to find answers to something, give me a job and I will bloodhound it out. So I'm looking forward to that, especially my new neighbor as well. We can learn together, and I'm very excited about this. Thank you.
Well, it has taken me 3 tries to come to the board here. That shows my resistance, my ability to work and work better and better. With my experience in all the areas that I've defined, I can help this board also, as well as working with the other boards like the GRF and the other ones, to get unity and work towards the progress of the community which is living here.
All right. Thank you, the 4 of you, the old and the new. I appreciate your staying.
Who you calling old?
Seasoned, the seasoned and the new. Is that better? Anyway, I appreciate you coming here this morning. I really have a total respect for your answers and your direction, and I think this board is here and going forward and to continue being the great board that it is. We're making a difference, and we're listening, and we're getting some really positive things done. Real quick, 2 little things. I would like to thank the landscape department. They just finished doing the Aliso Creek again. That is a task that takes them a week, and this time through from the beginning to the end, which is approximately almost exactly 1 mile, goes through United. They've done a wonderful job this round of clearing debris and trimming down, so the creek is in just a beautiful state right now. Kudos. One other thing, our next board meeting is September 8th, and I would love to see everybody there. Look for the agenda to be published, and please join us September 8th at 9:30 a.m. in this beautiful building. Other than that, we're going to say goodnight, everybody, or goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and thank everybody here. Thank you.